Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyanamitas, Namo Buddhaya and Sukhi Hontu. I'm Aliana and welcome to TRV Friday Sutta discussion by Bhante Dr.G Chandima. Tonight's class is the day 136 of Sutta discussion class, the third class of Cunda Sutta with topic the 4 acts that purify the speech of or vacī soceyya. Cunda Sutta is the 13th sutta that has been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. In previous classes, Bhante has discussed about Mangala Sutta, Ratana Sutta, Metta Sutta, Sigaluwada Sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, Sabbasawa Sutta, Patakama Sutta, and Patamasamajīvi Sutta, Alawaka Sutta, Dajaga Sutta, Girimanada Sutta, and Chulakama Vibhanga Sutta, which Bhante has elaborated those sutta in depth. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Aman Perdana Klang's Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous classes there. We are always welcoming newcomers, therefore please share around about this class with other friends and family members, so that whoever that wish to join the class via Zoom, where we can engage directly with Bhante, can contact the Vihara through TRV Facebook page, Facebook Messenger, or WhatsApp. Or you can join the class from Ti-Ratana Vihara Facebook channel, where we broadcast the Sutta class live on every Friday evening from 8:30 p.m. till 10 p.m. Kuala Lumpur time. Now let me introduce to you our speaker, Bhante Dr.G Chandima, who is the Associate Editor of the Journal of International Buddhist Studies, or JIBS, which is published by the Buddhist Research Institute of Mahachulalongkorn Rajavidyalaya University in Thailand. Bhante was previously a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society, or CSRS, at University of Victoria, Canada. Bhante Dr. Chandima was also the Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada from year 2012 till 2016. Recently, Bhante Chandima has joined Ateneo de Manila University in the Philippines as Assistant Professor of Buddhist Philosophy. Bhante is also the Senior Advisor to Patisota, a virtual Dhamma organization that hosts weekly online Pali reading class, Sutta discussions, Dhamma talks, and a variety of other Dhamma activities. His Dhamma works can be accessed at www.patisota.blogspot.com. And we also can follow Bhante at Patisota Facebook account. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante. And as always, thank you very much for the wonderful guidance and teaching. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana. Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back. And we are going to conduct our Sutta discussion day 135, if I'm not mistaken.
36, Bhante.
36. 136. And before we get started, shall we pay respect to them? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Today we have Aliana, Lim, Kim, Kelvin, Melinda, Sadiris, Naim, Chen, Kema, Corina, Leon, Sumita, Margaretan, Nadira, Hema, Uchuwon, Kay, Lim, Yu Hui, Chet, June, Margaret Chu, and Ko. So welcome everyone. And we will be conducting our new sutta, which we started a few weeks ago. This new sutta is called Cunda Sutta. And in the Cunda Sutta, we have been discussing about purity, how to become pure. At the same time, how to purify. What is the purification which the Buddha talks about in terms of Buddhist thoughts. Earlier, I think it was not last Friday. The Friday before last Friday, we discussed that there was a conversation that was going between the Buddha and this person called Cunda, wherein which Buddha got to know that how Brahmins do their purification. They do a lot of things in terms of purification, not even taking showers in the rivers, but also the way how they got up early in the morning and doing some other rituals. And then the Buddha told him that this is not the purification in the Buddhist teachings. And then he started saying that purification in Buddhism comes from taking care of one's own actions, speech, and then thoughts. And we discussed about actions last Friday. What were the actions that we can use to purify our body? Normally, we know we can purify our body by taking a good bath, right? And then do some other decorations, right? We can purify us. I think we should do that in our own ways. But the true purification with regard to the body comes from not engaging in killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. This is what we discussed last Friday. Now, today, we are moving on to the second part, that means purification of speech. That means the Buddha talks about purification with regard to our speech. That means we have to purify us with our speech as well. So let's take a look at the text over here. Cunda Sutta. You will have this link, I think. And it's over here. Vācāya asore, this part. So I would like to ask someone to read. Maybe we can ask 4 participants to read this section, Vācāya asore. So the first one will read from here up until here. I would like to make it bigger this way. So who would like to read this part? Yeah, you can show your virtual, interest. Yeah, raise your virtual hand. You can show me that you would like to read. Anyone? Anyone would like to read this part? Yes, Melinda, please go ahead. I'm going to make it unbold.
Sorry, thank you, Bhante. I try.
Yes.
Vācāya soceyya. Kantaja Cunda Chatubidam Vācāya asoceyam hoti. Ida Cunda ekacho musawadi hoti. Sabagato va parisagato. Va nyati Macha gato va puga macha gato va raja kula macha gato va abinito sakiputo eham obo purisa yam janasi tam vadehiti so ajanam va aha janamiti janam va aha na janamiti apasan wa aha pasamiti pasam wa aha na pasamiti iti atta hito wa para hito wa amisa kinchika hito wa sampajana musa batsita hoti. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, so vacāya asoceyya. Asoceyya means impurity. How can someone become impure with one's speech, words? Now, this part, like in the Buddhist teachings, when the Buddha talks about speech, he always mentions right speech, samma vaca. So, samma vaca means our right speech. Our speech has to be uh, made in 4 good ways: not lying, not slandering, not using harsh words, and not gossiping, idle chatting. So these are the 4 important aspects of our right speech. I mean, this good speech. So it is the same thing that we are discussing here. But today we are learning how did the Buddha mean these 4 aspects. And we can see that he has very thorough and then very specific words which were used in this interpretation. So we have to learn them. Now, what Melinda read here was about the Musavada part. This is the Musavada part that we have to learn. The second one is Pisunavacha part, slandering part. The third one is Parusavacha part, harsh speech part. The last one is Sampapalapa part, gossiping part. This is the summary. And then here, now, we will take a look. Katancha Cunda Chatupidam Vachaya Asoceyam Hoti. Cunda, how can someone become impure through the speech? In 4 ways. Ida Cunda Ekacho Musavadi Hoti. Someone lies, someone engages in Musavada. How does someone engage in Musavada? I think today you will learn how can someone engage in Musavada, lying. So Buddha clearly gives us a very specific interpretation. Sabaggatowa, Parisaggatowa, Nyati Majjagatowa, Fuga Majjagatowa, Rajakula Majjagatowa, Abhinito Sakkiputtu, Evam Bhopurisa Yang Janasi, Tang Vadehiti. So, Aja Nangva Ah Ja Namiti. Janang Va Ah Na Janamiti. Apassangva Ah Passamiti. Passangva Ah Na Passamiti. Iti Attahetuva Parahetuva. Amisa Kinchikka Hetuva. Sampajana Musa Bhasita Hoti. Now, there are certain situations which the Buddha talks about in which someone can engage in Musavada, someone cannot engage in Musavada. Sabaggatova means when someone goes to a council, or I would say a certain assembly or council, say for instance, Sabha is a council. Parisaggatova, Parisa means, you can see over here, meeting hall, assembly hall, meeting hall or assembly hall. Nyati Majjagatuva. Nyati Majjagatuva means when someone goes to a gathering where he or she meets his or her relatives. Puga Majjagatuva. Puga means, this is also another name for assembly. But here you can see guild. Another type of assembly, Puga. A group of people. When someone walks over to a group of people. Any other ceremony. Rajakula Majjagatuva, when someone goes to a government office. Now, and today we will understand this in that way. At that time, when someone goes to the palace of the king, or in today's world, when someone goes to a government office where someone has to sign, one has to say that this information is correct and true to the best of my knowledge, right? I think we have to do that when you go to sign something in an office like that. Not even that. Abhinito Sakkiputtu. Abhinito means Abhinito means when someone is brought forward to a certain court where someone is supposed to give an eyewitness, where someone is supposed to give a certain proof with regard to something. So in all these situations, one has to practice truthfulness. What kind of truthfulness? This kind of truthfulness. Ehango purisa, when someone like that is going to those places, when they are asking that person, when they are asking from you, yang jana sitang badehit. If you know something, you have to tell that what you know. So this is how the person is supposed to say. So ajanang va ah janami. When I don't know something, I have to say that I don't know. Or maybe that person say, when that person doesn't know, that person will say, I don't know. Janang va ahana janami. As you can see here, if he knows, he says, I know if he knows. He says, I don't know if he hasn't seen. Then, apassang va ah passami. Passang va ah na passami. If I see something, I say I saw it. If I didn't see that, I have to say I didn't see. Iti atta hetuva, para hetuva, amisa kinchikka hetuva, sampajana musa basita hoti. Now, the thing is that Atta hetuva means for one's own personal purposes. Parahetu means for some other people's benefit. Or kinchikka, amisa kinchikka hetu, for any other trivial benefit. You can see if you click on here, there are some interpretations coming up. Some trivial, trifle, small material benefits. Sampajana musa basitaho. Sampajana means deliberate musavada, right? So this is what the Buddha says, as you can see here. Chunda, does one become impure in vacha in 4 ways? Here Chunda one is musavadi. When he or she has been brought to the meeting hall in front of an assembly among his relatives, skills in the midst of royal court, as we said, government office, on being asked as a witness, come, my good man, what you know, tell us. If he doesn't know, he says, I know. If he knows, he says, I don't know. If he has not seen, he says, I have seen. If he has seen, he says, I haven't seen. The opposite. Thus, for his own sake, or for the sake of someone else, or for the sake of some trivial gains, he or she is deliberately speaking false. This Pali word has to be discussed, sampajana. Have you ever found out this Pali word in your reading? Sampajana? Sampajana.
Yes, in Satipatthana Sutta.
Satipatthana Sutta gives us a lot of context about sampajana. Sampajana means
Clear comprehension.
clear comprehension is one English meaning.
Clear
And
awareness.
there are, this is also another meaning, clear awareness. And there are many other meanings. It depends on the translator, right? Clear knowing, fully knowing, right? There are many meanings. But if you look at the Pali word sampajana, jana means know, sang means know well. But this Pali word has been used for negative situations, akusala situations too. That means when you are engaging in any activity with sampajana means you are creating akusala, definitely. Right? But when you use sampajana for good things, you are creating more kusala. So sampajana works in 2 ways. Perhaps sampajana is another interesting word for chetana. Right? Chetana means intention, volition. Let's say you are going to offer some dana, but you are not conscious about the importance of dana while you are giving dana. Then you are merely doing the dana. But what if you are doing it with some sampajana? Your alobha, dosa, moha thoughts are very much deliberate. very much noticed by you. At that point, you are creating more kusala, right? Because it has sampajana. What if there is someone who is telling lies in full awareness? The person knows that I'm lying now at this point. So this is creating also a lot of akusala. Are there people who are lying without their understanding? There may be. That is also part of mindfulness issues. I mean, lack of some kind of awareness at that point. So, sampajana musa is more dangerous than simple musa. This is the understanding we have to learn here. You can see here, sampajana musa. So you can, if we opt this out, musa means just lying. But what if someone is doing sampajana musa, deliberate lying, planning, strategizing, and then doing other things to lie. Let's say that you are going to lie in June, but you are now planning to lie. Think about this moment. Today is May 30th. Maybe on June 7th, you're going to lie to somebody, but let's say you are planning now. So this is going to be sampajana musa, right? Have you seen that there are people who just being unmindful and then they say different things all of a sudden? It is not very much sampajana, but lack of their awareness for different reasons. So the Buddha here means sampajana musa. Sampajana musa means deliberate lying. So lying happened in this way. Now I want you to look at some of the Pali words over here. We will look at them a little bit in the what do you call in the notes. But here, can you take a look at this point? Katancha chunda chatupidang vacāya soceyya hoti. Ida chunda ekacho musavadi hoti. Okay. Now this is the asoceyya part. But if we go back to the point here that we made at the beginning, when the Buddha was talking, giving the summary at the beginning, maybe the background. You can see here. Okay. Tividang ko chunda kayena asoceyang hoti. Chatupidang vacāya asoceyang hoti. Tividang manasa asoceyang hoti. Discuss about asoceyya over here. And coming down to this part. Okay. Now, I think we missed one part at the beginning in our first discussion about this sutta. We could have discussed about panati in every place where Buddha talks about this these 10 aspects, I mean purifications. He talks about viramana, pativirato. Pativirato is a Pali word he's using. That means when one looks at about these purifications, especially the impurities with regard to body, speech, and mind, he first uses the word called pahina and then virati. Let me write that for you under the chat. Pahina. Pahina means removal. This is more likely mentally. And then pativirata. Pativirato. This is more likely virati. Now, virati means abstinence. Let's say refrain. Okay, so with regard to the virati, we need to discuss 3 types of virati. Number 1 is sampatta virati. Sampatta virati means situational refraining. This was not given in the note. I just have to write it here. The second one is called samadhana virati. Samadhana virati means precept-based refraining. And number 3 is setugata virati. Okay. So this has to be discussed now before we move on to, because this is applicable to all these 3 aspects. Somehow, now, when it comes to Pali word virati, this is what is happening when we are dealing with the, what you call, sila. Sila, all these are part of the sila, right? So, the first thing that we have to discuss, there are certain types of virati, that means refraining, that happens depending on the situation. Now think about, you don't think about you are a non-Buddhist, or maybe you are not into the sila at a certain point. And then you suddenly find out a moment of time that you could have lied to someone. You could have done something wrong with your speech, but you did not. So this is called situational refraining. I think there are a lot of moments as such, which you may have done in your life, even before you became a Buddhist in this context. So it's called Sampatta Virati. I think this is not even common to Buddhists. There are many other non-Buddhists who might be saying that I had a lot of opportunities to become a bad person, to do wrong things to other people, but I did not. So that kind of sila is not a sila based on the precepts. We call it Sampatta Virati, situational refrain. The second one, as you can see, is Samadhana Virati. Samadhana Virati means refraining by taking precepts. Exactly what you are doing by taking the 5 precepts, 8 precepts, 10 precepts, and whatever other precept. Why do I say so? You find this Pali word in every precept. Where do you find this samadhana? Panatipata Viramani Sikkapada Samadhiya. It's called Samadhana Virati. Second one. And in with regard to today's one, Musavada Viramani Sikkapada Samadhiya. So your sila depends on samadhana. Samadhana means you undertake certain precepts to become good in your sila. Earlier one, you did not undertake any precept. You just became good depending on the situation and how you handle it. It's called Sampatta Virati. But this one, Samadhana Virati. Then what about Setughata? Setughata means, what is Setu? Setu means, Pali word Setu means bridge. B-R-I-D-G. Bridge. Setughata, you cut off the bridge. What kind of bridge is this? Sansara bridge. Right? This is called the bridge of Sansara. How long is your Sansara bridge so far? Should have been such a long bridge. You're never going to make to the end of this bridge. Still you are going on. But the problem is, this bridge is very long. You've never been able to make to the end of this bridge. You immerse in the ocean and come back to the bridge. Again, immerse in the ocean, come back to the bridge. Because Sansara is an ocean, right? So, Setughata means there are some people who practice Sila automatically. What is this automatic Sila? Right? Auto Sila. You could say it's kind of auto Sila. Now you have to take Sila by by choice. It's kind of a manual seal. You have to do it. This is kind of an auto kind of seal. That means this Setu Ghata Virati means a situation where an enlightened person, starting from Sotapanna, when one attains Sotapatti, that person has a built-in, an embedded sealer within that enlightenment. Does Sotapanna want to follow a lot of seal at that point? Not necessarily. Let's say someone of you became a Sotapanna, then you don't have to take precepts again. Why? You are automatically embedded in that seal. Why do I say so? Have you ever found out what Sotapanna cannot do in his or her life? Where does the Buddha mention that? Where do you find that the Sotapanna will never engage in any misconduct, any sila breach?
Is it Ratana Sutta?
Ratana
Bhante?
Sutta.
Ratana Sutta. So can you tell me how did the Buddha mention that in Ratana Sutta? Those exact Pali sentences, readings. Kinchapiso kammang karoti papakam kayena vacha udaceta ababho sutassa patichadaya ababbata ditta padassa. This is the proof. Kinchapiso kammang karoti papakam kayena vacha udaceta through body, vacha speech, cetasa thoughts, mind. A Sotapanna will never engage in any misconduct with regard to the body, speech, and the mind. Why? And what is going to happen at that point is that ababbu sotassa patichadaya ababbata ditta padassa buddha. Sotapanna cannot hide akusala. Why? The Sotapanna is very open with regard to his or her akusala. Do we hide our own akusala sometimes? Do we? Just to show we are good Buddhists, we follow the Dhamma. Do we hide our own akusala?
Yes, Bhante, sometimes.
We do. We might, huh? Why? It depends on the person's ability to understand Dhamma. That's why we are trying to get into this Dhamma in that way. But Sotapanna, it is not Sotapanna hide or not hide. Sotapanna by nature cannot hide. It is said that Kincha pisokam mankaroti papakam kayena vacha udacetasa ababbo, he is ineligible to hide. So then think about the opposite people who are opposite to the other side of the Sotapatti. They are very eligible to hide their own akusalas. They are babbu, not ababbu. Babbu, that's a patichadaya. Patichadaya means to hide. In Pali, we have a Pali word for this, Pali name for this akusala, hiding one's own akusala. What is it? I think I shared with you sometime. And I can give you a clue. It is the name of the Buddha's mother, Maya. Maya is the akusala word, the word that we use for the nature that someone hides one's own akusala. Maya means the nature of an unenlightened person, ordinary being, to hide one's own akusala. M long A, Y long A. So this is why when someone attains at least the Sotapatti, that person doesn't need much of sila because sila will be automatic. But now what is happening to us? We have to always check whether we have the sila, right? We have to always go to 8 precept retreats. Why? You might think that your sila might not be that continuous at that point. That's why you may start from Sampatta Virati. You may be engaging in Samadhana Virati now, but you should end up with Setugata Virati. The reason why I said this is that when it comes to the speech, when are we going to come to a certain satisfiable, strong level of uh, purification with regard to our speech? Now, think about the Musavada. We're going back here. How are we going to take care of us with regard to Musavada? I think depending on the time, let's talk about some of the aspects of Musavada a little bit over here before we move on to the next. You can see, can you see the notes over here from my screen? You should be able, right? Musavada, lying false speech. This part we discuss. Says one knows what one doesn't know. Denies understanding of what one does know. States one has seen what one has not seen. Denies having seen something one has seen. These are the Pali words which this someone can lie for different reasons. Personal gain, for other people's things, or for minor slight advantages. And you can read all that. We are not able to read all this at this point because of the timing issue. But you can see every lie alters reality. It really affects the trust. Truth finally is the courage all the time. And regular lying definitely creates karma. And what can we do? I think this is very important to discuss. Cultivating truthfulness. That's pretty interesting. How to cultivate truthfulness? You can see the rest of the suggestions to do that. Stop before you start to talk. Do we do that? Do we stop for a moment before we talk? We just blast it to anybody. I don't care what other people think. This is the thing that we have to think about. Do I take some time before I talk? Right? I think you might do in a public speech, right? Because you know other people will guess what you are talking, right? Otherwise, you will just say what you want to say. In Buddhism, the Buddha asks us, do a reflection before you talk. That's the easiest way. Until you break free from your habits, habitual talking, you will never be able to come to this stage. So take some time to think about what you are talking. That is number one. That helps you to engage in truthfulness. Get into the habit of asking, is what I'm about to say accurate and essential? This part will be further discussed in other parts of speech. Say, I'm not sure, let me find out, rather than acting when you don't know. Credibility is enhanced by humility. Now, if I don't know something, I should be humble enough to say I don't know about it. Right? That is being very humble. And that helps other people to trust me. Right? And at the same time, we are looking at it. Talk ethically in all places. Tell the truth consistently at home, at work, and in social situations. Make your signature good. This is interesting. Practice silence. Sometimes the most honest answer is silence. When speech might mislead, say less, nothing at all. Have you ever practiced silence in times of some challenging moments? Other people are pushing you to say something, but you cannot say anything. You know this is leading to a problem. You stayed silent. So you are one step closer to not musavada, not engaging in musavada. One step closer, because silence helps us. In Buddhism, silence is not something that you are not talking. Silence is a way of giving a response to somebody, right? Now, you know that when you are living in your houses, there are some conversations going on sometime, right? There is no one solution for that problem, right? At that point, it is better not to talk, right? Let the other person cool down a little bit and to come to a certain understanding about what's happened, right? So silence is such a very important way to engage in musavada. But what if that you are supposed to speak the truth, but you are silent, you are evading from the problem by using silence? That is a problem too. But for many occasions in our life, you could engage in silence to stop having any bad conversations, bad arguments. Sometimes if you think that you can solve everything in words, and then you will say something, the other person will say something else, and then finally it will lead to a very terrible conversation, right? That's why silence is such a good thing. Did the Buddha use this silence sometimes? If he used, what were the occasions he used silence? Can you remember? Any moments how he used silence?
Yeah, Bhante, maybe things that are not related to enlightenment, when the question raised, so Buddha would just keep silent.
Yeah, this avyakata, yes. He used the silence because it is not purposeful, it is not meaningful for answering those questions, right? But it's a very Tathagata only way. I mean, not answering a question at that point is a Tathagata specific way. Others cannot do that because others will have to engage in a conversation. And on the other hand, every time when the Buddha comes to the Dhamma hall, he used to ask a question from monks. What was the question? What were you talking before I came here? Was Buddha trying to get into gossiping, what you guys talking, and let me be a part of that conversation. That's not the way. We look at it from an understanding that perhaps they were talking something meaningful during that time. Maybe I can start my Dhamma talk from that point. Nowadays, when you go to a vihara, people already invite us to give a talk on a topic. But Buddha was not given that opportunity. He was such a free person. When he goes to a Dhamma hall, okay, what were you talking before I came here? Okay, I'm going to give a Dhamma talk about it. This kind of a very free mindset. And it's going to be very timely, right? Because then the Buddha understands this Dhamma talk is going to be very meaningful to them, right? The listeners, savakas, the audience should have known the topic way before the monk comes to the Dhamma hall. Not that the speaker comes to the hall and randomly picks up a very difficult topic, right? And then nobody understands that topic at that point. Right? So when the Buddha comes to the Dhamma hall, he asks a question, what were you talking before I came here? Then if the monks were trying to tell him something that is not necessary, then he is normally giving an advice. You know that advice? He's saying, if you are here before I came here, and then if you were looking for something to do, at that point you could do one of the two things. One is Dhammiva Kata, engage in the conversation about Dhamma aspects with regard to your personal journey, making it to a group discussion. Or Ariyova Tunhibhav, you should protect your noble silence. This is what I wanted to bring now. In Buddhism, silence is not ignoble. Like when sometimes you have an argument with someone, you might not talk, but you're still in anger, right? You want to push back. You want to escalate later, but not now. There are people doing that. That is not noble silence. That is a silent attack. You are looking for a opportunity to take revenge, right? And how many people walking away from conversations planning to hit back? That is not noble silence. That is silence with some ulterior motives. But the Buddha's silence is that he's recommending his monks, nuns, even devotees, is noble silence. Ariyova Tunhibhav. Ariyova Tunhibhav means don't try to talk a lot. Because there are some people who are always trying to be talkative all the time. And then they find out they have no other words to talk about. Then they gossip. Then they pick up on other people. But they have nothing to talk. You're like thinking, okay, 9:15, we have like another 45. Let's talk about something just to spend the time. Like this kind of thinking If this kind of thinking comes to our life, that might not be what the Buddha meant by noble silence. So here, a way to protect our truthfulness in our life is time to time practicing noble silence. Right? Most of our problems come from our words that we are using for other people. I understand that when you are in a relationship, when you are maintaining your family ties, you need to clarify things with your people, right? Otherwise, a lot of insecurities coming up financially, personally, children-wise, plans. You need to clarify. Communication matters, right? But trying to talk about things without a purpose can create some chaos where truthfulness is going to be at stake. So silence is a good thing to practice for practicing truthfulness, not engaging in musavada. Not even that. Speak truth with compassion rather than as a weapon. Use it to uplift rather than to harm. Kindness and honesty have to travel together. This is interesting. Speak the truth with compassion rather than as a weapon. Have you ever seen where people speak the truth as a weapon to put other people down, to take advantage? Think about the media. Think about what some of the people who are giving some speeches. Are they using truth, to take some advantages or as a weapon? The Buddha said, don't do that. Now, what are we trying to talk at this point? Even when you are going to speak the truthfulness, or maybe talk something to someone with truth, be careful whether is this truth going to create some problems. At that point, what are we supposed to do? We might have to delay the truth for some time, because we are very kind, we are very compassionate for the other being and other communities. Because if I speak up now, I can make myself happy because I just release myself, but it can affect other people badly at that point. So I have to delay my truth until the good time comes in. When the good time comes in, I share it in that nice way. So in Buddhism, Buddha talks about that even the truth should not be communicated in a technical way. You have to understand what this truth will bring about at the same time, right? So if it is not going to make something, what you call righteous, safe, it is not that you are hiding it, you will just delay it, postpone it, put it off until the right time arises. All right? So silence and speak the truth with some compassion, all these are very important with regard to not lying. Now we are going to the second, third, fourth. I think we had to ask three of you to read, then I can just straight away going into the rest of the points here. All right. So who would like to read the second part? It's over here. Yeah, Pisuna Vacha. We will ask the person to read. Perhaps someone can read the three. Yeah. Pisuna Vacha Hoti. Please raise your virtual hand. We would like to read. Yes, Aliana, please.
Pisuna wacho hoti, ito sutwa amutra akata imesam bedaya amutra wa sutwa imesam akata amusa bedaya. Iti samaganang wa beta binanam wa asupadata wagarato waganandi wagakaranim wacam kasita hoti. Pasuna wacho hoti ya sa waca andaka kakasa para katuka para para basajani, koda samanta asamadi, samwatanika, tatar rupim, wacham basita hoti, sampapalapi hoti, akala wadi, abuta wadi, an ata wadi, adama wadi, avinaya wadi, anidanam watin, wacham basita hoti, akalena, an apadesanam, apariyanta watim, an atas samhitam.
Great. Pisuna vacho hoti ito sutva amutra khata imesang bedai amutrava sutva imesang akhata amusang bedai. This is what someone who is dividing other people in conversations does. Iti samagganang va betta binnanang va anupadata Vaggaramo, Vaggaratu, Vagganandi, Vaggarkarani, Vachang, Vasita, both. Okay, we will discuss that part first. Now, Pisunavacho. What does Pisunavacho means? Pisunavacho means dividing others in our conversations. How does someone do that? Ito means here, having heard something here, Sutva Amutra Akkata Imesam Bedya. It means Ito Sutva Amutra Kata Imesang Vedya. He is one who tells there what he has heard here, as a consequence of which there is disunion. Right? And Amutrava Sutva Imesang Akkata Amusang Vedya. So say for instance that someone hears something over here, but say something over there differently. And someone hears something over there, but say something differently, coming back here. So trying to divide others in that conversation. Iti samagganang va betta. Samagganang va betta means what is this person doing at the end is that this person is trying to divide the people who were already united together. Binnanang va anupadata. Binnanang va anupadata means Binnanang va means those who are already divided, right? And then anupadata, that means, what does anupadata means? Anupadata means binnanang va anupadata. Binnanang va means those who are already divided. But anupadata, this is the good side, right? Anupadata means the person is not trying to break them further, trying to create some kind of union. Vaggaramo. Vaggaramo means Vaggaramo, as you can see here, delighting in dissension. That means the person is trying to support the unity. He or she is always trying to create unity among others. Rama. And then the next one is also the same thing. Vaggarato. And Vagganandi. Vagganandi here means that one who rejoices in harmony. Now we find this Pali word in some other places. Nandi. Where do we find this Pali word in other places? This suffix. Nandi. Nandi means joy. What is the place we find this? In a very major sutta. We find this in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, where the Buddha mentions about tanha. When he talks about tanha, he uses the Pali word called Nandi. How he uses the Pali word Nandi? Nandi raga sahagato. Nandi means, so that means the Pali word Nandi, that means rejoice. is not even limited to bad kind of rejoicing with regard to the craving. Nandi can be used for good things too. Now here it means one who rejoices in harmony. That means we have to be Samagra Nandi, because we always have to look at everyone in their own unity. Not even that. Vagga Karaniya. You can see Vagga Karaniya means the speech Vagga Karaniyam Vacham Basitam Bhuvati. That means our speech, the person's speech, has to create this unity. So overall, what this particular area with regard to the engagement of divisive speech, or maybe not making the united speech, makes us to think that we should never engage in any speech that will create break, division among others or between two people. Have you ever witnessed that someone is trying to do it, someone has done it, maybe willingly or unwillingly? What caused them to do that, engage in such a activity? Perhaps for the most part, they were not very much thoughtful about what would happen. And on the other hand, they have a habit of doing that sometimes. They pass one information here to another party in a different way. And that party's information is trying to be pushed to the other party in a different way, right? And your friends might advise you, if you have a secret, never ever share with that person, because if you share it with that person, it will become the news very fast, right? You might have gotten that information sometime. You don't have to give to the news media. It will become the news media once you tell that person, right? I think we might have gone through such situations in our life, right? Actually, it's very important. I think it's not, we don't have to put blame on the person who is doing that. We also should have been mindful when we are sharing certain information, right? So that means while we are watching how other people are into this kind of activity, we also have to be careful in not sharing information with the wrong people, divisive people. Sometimes we think everybody is everybody, like how we see the good people, and we share everything with everybody. And then what will happen? We will be in trouble one day because of what we share. We share the good thing with the wrong person, right? So that's why what you call Pisuna Vacha has to be understood in a way that we tell us, I have to always look for unity. My speech has to be very careful, mindful with regard to talking things with the right people. At the same time, not creating any problem with regard to other people's connections, relationships, and goodwill. It's something that we have to maintain all the time. Otherwise, if we share these things with the wrong people, it might become the problem. And also, sometimes we are giving information for other people to become immoral, right? I think these people who are dividing others, they could have not divided others if they had not received the information, right? So that is one thing. Second thing is that if we know that there is someone who is doing that, we could have been mindful. We could have been careful in talking to that person, right? This is another thing. But anyways, we understand using our words to divide other people is such a bad speech. That is a impurity. If we do that, we are making us impure. We will not have that purification. And then now we will go to that part as well, a little bit summarized way. You can see here, Pisuna Vacha, slander speech. Speech that causes division by repeating what one hears in one place to others in a way that breeds conflict. Reports what was heard here to there to create division, reports what they heard, they are for the same reason here. Now think about when you hear a lot of things with people, you don't have to report to other people all the time, because you know if you tell this to other people, they might become not happy. So that means we also have a duty to stop these unnecessary things. This is what we discussed just now. Samagana Betta, based the unity, Bindana sharpens division among the already split and all that. And let's see what are the things we can do. Talk of others as though they were here. This golden rule kills gossip, hyperbole, and resentment right away. Okay, that means we have to create a certain good way of engaging in talking everybody as if that they are with us all the time. There are people who might think, okay, that person is not here now. I will give you a brutal review about that person and a brutal review, and then you are making everybody brutal after that. That's why we have to think about that. We don't have to give different definitions about other people. So we are good all the time. Otherwise, that kind of a divider person will pick up our own words and then bring our words into the other person's ear, and this will be a big issue after that, right? So we have to think about that, whether they are not here or there, we maintain a certain way of expressing about others. When problems develop, use words that promote understanding and reconciliation instead of assigning guilt. This is what we already understand, understanding and reconciliation. Before you repeat, check, carry only second-hand stories, only if they are confirmed, useful and agreed upon. Celebrate the good of in others by sharing outstanding compliments, and you will be a voice, healing, division, appreciation. Think on motive before you're talking about someone. Consider, why am I saying this? Does it strengthen or weaken? I think in our life, we will have a lot of opportunities to say things about other people. But we have to make sure how we are going to make it without creating division. So Parusa Vacha is such a very bad kind of speech that will make us impure all the way. Okay. Now we are going to the third one, which Aliana read just now. This is very important as well. We can see here. Parusa Vacho Hoti Yasa Vacha Andaka Kakkasa Para Katuka Parabhisajjani Hoda Samanta Asamadhi Sangvartanika Tata Rupang Vacham Vasita Ho. Now we can see here, Andaka here means any words that are rough. Andaka Kakkasa. Parakatuka, that means definitely very bitter, very difficult for other people to understand. Parabhisajjani. Abhisajjani means abusive, very abusive to others. Parabhisajjani. Koda Samanta. The words are always given with anger. Asamadhi Sangvartanika. That is not conducive to samadhi. So once again we see Andaka, that means rough, and Kakkasa means rough words, and Kakkasa hard words. Parakatuka means very bitter to other people, and Parabhisajjani, that means very abusive to other people in their own way, culture or other sensitivities. And Koda Samanta, those words were given with anger. And Asamadhi Sangvartanika, when you talk about those words, what will happen is that you will be totally lost in your speech, and they will be lost in their speech too. Okay, there are moments as such in many people's life. And in other many suttas, Buddha talks about what is a pleasant speech. And he's talking couple words. I think I have to mention, there's a sutta, which I will share maybe another time, where Buddha talks about the good side of these hard, rough words. Number one, he's saying, our words have to be nela. Nela means soft. Words have to be soft. How do we know that our words are soft or not? Can we touch our own words? Right? That means we have to study about good words and how to talk. Nela. And the second thing is, second way to do this present speech is, now what we learn in the Cunda Sutta is the unpleasant speech, abusive, unpleasant speech. But this is the good stuff. Cunda Sutta. Maybe I'm going to put the numbers. Cunda Sutta. Cunda Sutta means pleasant to the ear. Kanna means ear, Sukha means pleasant. Nela is number one. Soft words, Kanna Sukha, pleasant. Words that are pleasant to the ear. I mean, this is the pleasant speech, which is the opposite of Parusavacha. Third one is Pemaniya. Pemaniya means affectionate. Affectionate words. Now, what does Pema means in Pali? Pema. P-E-M-A. P-E-M-A. What does Pema mean? Pema means affection, love. Right? So then, does Buddhism reject the worldly love? How does Buddhism take it? Buddhism always says that it has to be maintained without clinging. Other than that, there is no problem with regard to paper. So our words have to be affectionate. What do you feel when someone talks to you with some affectionate words? Real words. I'm not trying to put you in a high bar. Not giving you some very much hyperbole statements, but you feel like very good. You were never addressed by anybody like that. You feel very good with that kind of a speech. Pemaniya. And then the fourth one is Hadayangama. Hadayangama. Hadaya means heart. Buddha asks us use the words that can go to the heart, right? And say words that are going to the heart. That means heartfelt words. What are the Hadayangama words that you can think about? I think we are giving a lot of what do you call the andaka, kakka, what do you call those kind of words are also going to the heart in a wrong way, in a bad way, right? But here Buddha asks us to use words that are going to the heart of someone in a pleasant way. Hadayangama, Nela, soft, Kanna Sukha, pleasant to the ear, Pemaniya, affectionate words, and then Hadayangama, going to the heart. And not even that, Pori, that's the fifth one. Pori. Pori here means refined words. Refined, or you could say polish. What does it mean? Polish, refined. Sometimes when we talk about certain words, we might not have given some attention to its larger, broader, their larger, broader meaning, right? Perhaps you may have to say, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean that by using this word. Have you ever happened to go through that moment? I did not mean that. I have a different meaning. The problem is that I haven't checked my own vocabulary. I just simply stop in my own way. Right? That's why the Buddha said, try to specify your words depending on the person you are talking to. Pori, P-O-R-I, Pori words. Words that are more refined, more polished. Right? Pori. Not even that. And then the sixth one is Bahujana Kanta. Bahujana Kanta means delightful to many. Bahujana Kanta. The words that are delightful to many. But make sure that when someone is cracking a bad joke, everybody will be delighted. Such kind of people. But this is taken from a moral, wholesome perspective. Right? Think about a Dhamma talk. Everybody is happy to welcome that Dhamma talk and delighting everybody. That maybe you are sharing something good maybe a good act you done, compassionate act you done today. That is delightful to everybody, right? Bahujana Kanta. Then the last one here is the seventh one, we call it Bahujana Manapa. Bahujana Manapa means pleasing to many. Nela Kannasuka Pemaniya Hadayangama Pori Bahujana Kanta Bahujana Manapa. If you bring in these 7 aspects to your speech going to be pleasant. Next time somebody asks, how did the Buddha explain pleasant speech? Buddha said, don't talk very harsh words. But how to do it? This is the problem. Tell me how to do it. Nela, Kannasuka, Pemaniya, Hadayangama, Pori, Bahujana Kanta, Bahujana Nela. Our words have to be soft in our own way. Pleasant to the ear, Kannasuka. Pemaniya, it has to carry some amount of affection according to the person. Hadayangama, my words should go to the heart of people, heartfelt words. And Pori, I have to be very specific about what I talk. And Bahujana Kanta, my words are necessary to be delight to many, the way how I talk, maybe the topic, and then pleasing to many, Bahujana Manapa. This is what we call as the opposite of Parusa Vacha. Now here in the sutta we talk about what is Parusa Vacha, but this is the opposite of Parusa Vacha. You can see here, Andaka, Kakkasa, hard, rough, Parakatuka, very, what do you call, hurting other people, Parabhisajani, abusing other people. The words are given in anger, and words are not giving us and other people concentration, and this kind of speech. So then the opposite of this speech is Nela, Kannasuka, those 7 aspects. Let's take a look at the notes over here. Harsh speech, abusive words, pretty much emotionally damaging, rough, aggressive words. You can see here. What can we do? Speaking with decency and respect. Is that very important for us to speak with some kindness, some dignity, and some clarity? Are we really looking at these things even when we talk to someone in our family? Do we really respect other person's dignity, or thinking you are just a minor, I don't care about how you feel about it, I just air it, I just become vocal about it? That is not the Buddhist way. That is why this mindfulness, sati, has to come to these aspects. How do I communicate? How do I bring in this, what you call, pleasant speech? I have to first respect the other person. That is that person's dignity as well, right? When I believe other person's dignity, whoever, it can be someone who has something or who may not have something, but that dignity and respect will help me to engage in this pleasant speech. And then going forward, replace reaction with reflection. Teach yourself to breathe first and then speak. You are angry. Anger never makes words more sensible. For the most part, or most often, people say such abusive, unpleasant words when they are not in the right. Do we have an excuse for that? Then what could you, I think one of our last conversations, somebody asked him how to transform anger, right? And what I said was that when we become angry as a matter of our emotional issues, we have to always think that anger is not the best solution to this problem. I have to check what are the other solutions I can make for this problem. That is the first thing. Because we are naturally hardwired to think that anger is the best solution to express myself, right? So that's why he said that take a moment of time and switch this anger into another solution. And rather than trying to blame other people, you can have a healthy communication with other people, how you feel about it, right? And think about the aftermath. And as you understand, practice Brahma Viharas, definitely. That will help you to stay away from the issue. So, Parusa Vacha will make us impure in our speech. And aparusa vacha, that means practicing the opposite of parusa vacha, that means nela, kana, sukha, and all those 7 ways of speech will help you to engage in pleasant speech. Okay, we are going to the last section now. It's about gossiping, idle chatting. It's very important for all of us to understand. Sampappalapi hoti akalavadi cha bhutavadi anattavadi cha adammavadi avinayavadi anidanavati vachang basita bhuti akalena anapadesang apariyanta vating anatta sankita evam ko chunda hetuppidang vachaya asoceyya. What is sampappalapa? We understand sampappalapa here means speaking pointlessly without truth, meaning or value, idle chatting, frivolous talk. Here is what we understand here. Akalavadi. We here understand akalavadi here means talk at improper times. Is it very important? I mean, why is it very important to talk at the right time? Do we talk at the right time? Sometimes we engage conversations, we start conversations at the wrong time. So we are not kalavadi. So here vadi means a speaker. We have to be a kalavadi, timely speaker. When we talk something, we have to engage in the right time. You have to decide what could be the right time. What if that there is something really sensitive in your family that you are supposed to talk, but you start this conversation at the wrong time? It could be a problem, right? You are looking for a good time to talk. Kalavadi. And then abhutavadi, that means opposite of, you can see here, addresses topics of unreal or false truth. This is regarding again musavada. So we have to always become bhutavadi. Bhutavadi means we have to become a factual speaker, right? What is a factual speaker in our Dhamma practice? When we talk something in the Dhamma, we should be able to say, where did I find this information, right? Right? We have to have the source to talk about it. Otherwise, anybody can hypothesize, imagines information about it. Like the fake Buddha quotes on the internet. There are people who are posting that Buddha said this and that, and you also reposting them in your own ways. But then find out nobody has said something like that. Maybe somebody only imagine about what could be the Buddha like in terms of this subject, right? So abhutavadi is not a good idea. We had to be bhutavadi. We had to be a factual speaker, right? Then people will believe you. And not even that. The third issue here is that you can see anattavadi. We have to be attavadi. Attavadi means addresses what is dharmically meaningful. Anattavadi means what is not dharmically meaningful. Dharmically meaningful means, that means every conversation, every speech has a certain meaning. That meaning has to be reflected properly in the speech. Otherwise, the speech will be very rambling, right? It's too long, and then there is no any meaning to the speech. And then we have to be attavadi, not anattavadi. Adammavadi, avinayavadi. Adammavadi, avinayavadi. We have to be dhammavadi, vinayavadi. Dhammavadi means whatever we talk should be conformed to Dhamma and the discipline. That means if we talk anything that is conformed to Dhamma, that means we cannot lie anytime. And if we become Vinayavadi, that doesn't mean we are reading Vinaya Pitaka. Vinayavadi means whatever we talk are going to be friendly with the discipline. Whatever I talk should be in conformity with the discipline. What is your discipline? 5 precepts, right? It has to be. Now there is another problem. If the Buddha asks you to practice Dhammavadi and Vinayavadi, that means you cannot talk anything that you don't practice, right? because it has to be working together. And not even that. Anidanavati. We have to be Nidanavati. Anidana means not worth remembering or valuing. Now we understand Nidana here means grounding. And you might feel here, you can see here, Anidanavati. Anidana means it is not worth remembering. That means when we talk about something in our discussions, or even in your normal discussions, better to bring that conversation to a place that is really worth discussing, at the same time supporting. Remember, that is why you have some problem sometimes. You are saying to someone, how many times I've been telling you, you not remembering this many times. Whose problem is that? You have not told that in a grounded way to that person. You are talking a lot of unnecessary things. So the person that you are expecting to do did not get it. Then you are blaming that person, scolding that person. That's why the Buddha said, when you want to say something very meaningful, say it in a way that can ground that person. Person can easily understand and ground oneself to what you are talking. Then you don't need to exhaust with your own speech. That is what we call by Nidanavadi, not Anidanavadi. And then we here understand Vacham Basdavati, Akalena. Akalena means words have to be spoken at the right time, not at the wrong time. Kalena, not Akalena. Not Anapadesa, but Apadesa. What is Apadesa and Anapadesa? Apadesa means explanations. When we talk to somebody, we should have certain clarifications when we talk. Sometimes we talk without explanations, and we are making people very much confused in our close circles, maybe in other places. We have to give some clarifications, some explanations. Anapadesa means no explanations. And here we understand Sapadesa or Apadesa means we have explanation in our speech. And not Apariyanta, but Pariyanta. Pariyanta means when we talk, we have to have some boundaries in our speech. Pariyanta, not Apariyanta. Do you think about your boundaries when you talk? Or you just keep talking the whole time, morning to evening, you are becoming a talker. Very like a nuisance to your own family members, talking everything. Have some pariyanta, have some limits, some boundaries to talk. Then everybody will be waiting until you open your mouth. Otherwise, people will be waiting until you stop your mouth. Right? No pariyanta. How to have a boundary, this speaking boundary. Actually, it's very interesting to have a boundary like that. So people will like listening to us. Now think about, we had the same issue the other day, OPRC class, I was saying, give this short speech for 5 minutes, maybe 2-3 minutes sometimes, it's very difficult for some people in our life, in many other places to stop the speech for like 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Sometimes you have to give like many reminders, hey, you are going too long now, right? Perhaps you must have gone to a Toastmasters club to give an impromptu speech and stop your speech like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? That is, being able to stop our speech in time is very important. That's why it's called pariyanta kind of speech. But if you become anapariyanta, you are going to be a gossip. You are going sampappalapa speech. You can see here. Pariyanta, we have to be pariyanta kind of speaker, not apariyanta. Apariyanta means you can see limit, border, right? No border, no limit. And then we have to become Atta Sanghita, but not Anatta Sanghita. Atta Sanghita means our speech has to have a certain meaning. This meaning is very important. Okay, let's go back again. How to stay away from Sampappalapa. Here I have given it this way. It has to be Kalavadi, not Akalavadi. Bhutavadi, Attavadi, Dhammavadi, Vinayavadi, Nidanavadi, Apadesa, Pariyanta, Atta Sangha. This is what the good speech, I would say, Sampappalapa, the speech that has no Sampappalapa kind of speech. All right. So here we understand the issue. And then what to do? Speaking deliberately and with consciousness. Learn to be at peace in silence, noble silence. Ask, is saying this worth it? Apply the Buddhist filter. That means, is it accurate, helpful, timely, compassionate, which is something similar to what we discussed now, right? This is very important. I think we can just stop it at this point. Listen more than you talk. Deep listening is a very powerful kind of communication. It respects others and calms inner restlessness, driving pointless conversation. Listen more than you talk. This is a very important thing that we can do with regard to Sampapalapa. Actually, when you engage in conversation, if you can listen more at the right time, then you can minimize adding unnecessary words into the conversation. All right, today then we've been discussing about how to purify our speech, and we discuss how to disengage with musavada and then bring in truthfulness, sacca, and how to stay away from Pisunavacha, divided speech, how to protect us not falling into divided speech, how to add united speech. That means we have to think before we talk. What will happen if I talk this? Will there be a clash between them, among them, in a group, in our family? Such kind of mindfulness has to be maintained. And pleasant speech, we discuss about 7 ways to do it, Nela, Cunda Sutta and all that. We have to stay away from that hard, rough, abusive speech. And then finally, we discuss about speaking in a way that is meaningful, timely, have some boundaries, and it's Dhamma Pro, Vinaya Pro, and all that. So we understand these 4 types of speeches will lead us to purify our speech every day. So other than that, there is no way to purify our speech. All right, any questions? We might take 1 or 2 minutes before we transfer hands. You can raise your virtual hand. Yes, any questions about today? Yes, Aliana.
Bhante, what if someone thought that they are telling the truth, but even though they are telling the truth can divide others?
Truth can be?
Divide others.
Yes, that's what we said. Now we have to understand the importance between I mean among these 4. That's why I said the truth is there. Truth has to be communicated with compassion. Truth shouldn't be communicated without compassion. So you understand that this will lead to Pisunavacha. That means I have to communicate my own truthfulness in a way that is compassionate. So what can I do? Maybe this might not be the right time to communicate that truth. Perhaps I might need to take some more time. Maybe there is another way to communicate this truth in a different way that will not affect those people. So it is very case specific. So I think what comes to my mind in the first place is putting it off for some time till the situations gets better. Maybe they will have more good understanding, and then I will just share it in a nice way. Yeah, maybe I can share this with somebody else who might say the truth, that the problem will be minimal. So there may be different other ways as well. But
Thank you, Bhante.
if you take telling the truth as a black and white thing, you will tell the truth, many people will be in problem after that. More
Thank you, Bhante.
Pisunavacha will happen. Yes, Hema, please.
Bhante, is what if telling the truth, it hurts? So it's better not to tell at all, right? To have the wisdom.
That's why we have to practice all these good qualities with some wisdom. Without wisdom, no Dhamma quality is going to work well. Even dana, sila, bhavana, giving good karma. Now, you said truth can be hurtful. Why? It can be hurtful if we communicate without wisdom. So if I bring wisdom, I can think about what will happen. That's why I have to think about this is truth. Think about you are seeing someone who is doing something wrong, and the person is also your friend who has an influence onto that particular thing.
Exactly. Bhante, that's right.
Think about an extramarital affair of somebody, and you
Yeah.
can, how can I not say it to my friend? And if I say it, she or he will confront the partner, and there will be a big problem. What could be the best way to do it? Should I
I
keep it
say
to
I
myself?
say nothing. That is exactly because it's your friend and you know it's affecting the marriage, knowing that it's not right, but just stay away. That's it. Am I right?
Uh, I don't say it's right, but at the moment,
It's the
you
best.
might not find a better way to do it. So perhaps you keep it to yourself,
Yeah.
and maybe looking for a better place, and you also see how they are living together, and a better time to communicate this. But not that you call right away, hey, I saw this person and a
No.
big problem. That's why we need wisdom to practice such a truthfulness. We need wisdom for every other practice, even mindfulness.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. We can take one more question. We will then wrap this up if you have.
Bhante,
Yes, Kim. Yes.
what Sister Hema said just now, I still don't get the answer. So tell or don't tell?
That's why Buddhism is not a black and white practice, we have a lot of gray areas here. When we practice any good quality, metta, karuna, mudita, upekka, or precepts or whatever, we have to engage in those practices with wisdom, because there are a lot of things that we cannot see. If we think this is good, this is bad. So in her question, what she was asking was that she has a very important truth for her friend, but she cannot do it.
Yeah.
Because we understand, we all understand it could be a problem at this point, maybe at that point, but the situation is not good to say that. So she has to think about, she is caring about her friend also. Maybe her friend is being cheated by this person, right? It's also good, right? And she has some compassion for her life, and she thinks nothing is going bad. Perhaps now the person who saw it might be thinking a better way, maybe taking time for an opportunity to say it in a better way that will not create a big problem. So the other person can process that truth. Sometimes
I
we give truths for people in moments where they cannot process that truth. Yes, we will take one more question. Yes, please. Yes,
But
sister.
there can be hint. Give a hint.
Huh?
Give a hint.
For what?
Hinting that on this matter.
This is not about vocal or not. This is about what will happen.
Mm.
Even the same thing will happen. You will hint that person, the other person will know it happened, right? It's not about hinting or not hinting. It's about what will happen.
But in one day they find out maybe too late, then will be more hoo-ha.
No, we don't know how soon they will find out, but but what is important here is that we are not creating unnecessary problems for them as a third party, and looking at a better way to do it. So something will happen in the meantime. Maybe something will not happen. We will think about it better.
Bhante, the good news is like what you say, silence, and she knows what I know, and I keep it silence, and they pay due respect. I think turn around. It was really good. I pray in my heart. That's all I have to say. But it was good. End up it was a straight line again. It was good. Yeah. It's silence. So at that moment, you know, I know, and I think we better keep it this way. You choose a good path. That's all. But
Great.
it was good. Silence does help. I think at that moment.
But if you had blasted on the first day, things would
No,
have
no, no.
been
I just,
or in a different way. Yeah,
yeah,
that's why it's
yeah,
good to yeah.
that's
Yes,
right.
one more question. Yes, Hope, please go ahead.
Bhante, do you think it is okay, for example, if let's say the infidel, okay, the one who cheats, right, and let's say it happened right in front of my eye. If it is okay, let's say for me, okay, to go approach the infidel, okay, hello, I'm here. I see this is happening, right? And 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 I have some responsibilities towards the person that I love, right? Let's say it's my sister or someone very close to me, or my girlfriend very close to me and that I care very much. If I don't tell her, I feel wrong. What if I approach the infidel? Okay, it can be man or girl, the infidel. Please, I have seen this. Please continue with your responsibility to inform your partner before I go and approach, because I have some responsibilities too. I
Well,
feel
once again, it's not about confronting or not. It's about It's about kind of a feeling, a kind of a certain understanding within you that is this the right way to do it? Do I know the consequences of what I'm gonna do? If that happens to you or somebody else, if it is your part of your life, definitely you might confront in a calm way, and then to sort it out at that point. But always think about the consequences. What could be the best way to do it? So that is what we have to think about. Otherwise, there's no such thing called we have to confront. We have to always say this to other people because wisdom must be a part of it. So every case is different. Depending on the case, the nature, you have to think about what could be the better thing, minimizing unnecessary problems. Okay, so at this point, we are now going to transfer the good karmas. And what we've been discussing today is how to purify our speech. Our speech has to be purified with wisdom. Musavada has to be overcome with truthfulness, with wisdom. Then Pisudavacha, divisive speech, must be overcome with wisdom. And unpleasant speech has to be overcome with wisdom. And Sampapalapa, gossiping, idle chatting, should be overcome with wisdom, in addition to the opposite side. So may all the good karmas we've been making today by understanding this verbal purification be transferred to all the departed ones who passed away in all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita huntu ñātayu. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita huntu ñātayu. Idam me ñātīnaṁ hotu sukita huntu ñātayu. May Deva Naga Mahidika receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety. May they also finally attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata amhehi sambatang punya sampadang. Sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ittavata amhehi sambatang punya sampadang. Sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Ittavata amhehi sambatang punya sampadang. Sabbe satta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya. Akasatta ca bhummatta Deva Naga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Sasanang Akasatta ca Bhummatta Deva Naga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Desanang Akasatta ca Bhummatta Deva Naga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Mang Parang Chirang Rakhantu Tvam Sanati. we are now going to make our Dhamma wish. May we be surrounded with Kalyana Mitras, and at the same time, maybe become Kalyana Mitras to as many people as we can in this samsaric life. Thinking that we're going to make this noble wish. Imina punya kammena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yavanimbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we've been making today be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silisse nichang vadha pachaino chataru dhamma vadhanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminati samichatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With those blessings, wishing you a pleasant good night, and I look forward to seeing you on Friday, next Friday at the same time.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
Bhante.
everyone.
Thank you very much, Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Good night,
sadhu.
Bhante. Good night, everyone. See you all next week. Sadhu,
Thank
sadhu,
you,
sadhu.
Bhante. Good night.
Bhante.